Good day, good day, good day. As promised, here we are today. By God's grace, we have been given another day, which is a total blessing. I greet you all wherever you are, and thank you. Thank you for sharing the ideas of conversations that we can engage on and that have been burning in your hearts. And I primarily hope that some of the answers that you are looking for, I will be able to vessel through, and you'll receive them through the conversations that we have. I still need to totally declare and put it out there that in everything that I do, I put God first. And if you don't believe in God, it would be very important for me not to offend you. So don't continue watching the video, because in every thing that I do, I invite him and I ask for guidance. And today we are talking of something that is extremely sensitive. Everything anyway is always sensitive. It's always very important. However, today we're talking about healthy relationships with our children. And this is one of the things that have been coming up in a lot of things that I am engaged with. The realization that there is a struggle in relationships of parents and their children, and I would like us to just go through some of the things that are so important in healthy relationships with our children. And please be reminded that these are my views and they are not representing anybody or anything, but just me as the brand. Now, the healthy part is what I've been battling with, because you would ask me, what is a healthy relationship to begin with? Healthy would be what you, in your own definition, in your own life, in your principles, is defined as healthy. So whatever you deem healthy, this is that healthy, the healthy relationship that we should have with our children. And as I'm talking about children, I need to remind all of us that we call them our children. However, they are not our children. We have just been entrusted with their lives by our source, who is God. And he believes that at the time of their becoming of age, we would have planted seeds that are so great, they can go out there and plant the same and continue what we have taught them. And it is very important to understand that we do not own them. And one of the things that is very important in healthy relationships with our children is understanding that before they are children, they are human. That is one of the biggest things that we fall short of as parents. We forget that before they are children, ke batho. Now, children is the classification of what has been put out there as our way of ensuring that everybody plays their role in a manner that they should. So if we understand that before these little people are children, they're human, and whatever it is that we put out to them has a way of building inside of them. So it is very important to prepare them to avoid repairing at a later stage. If we prepare our children and have healthy relationships with them, it reduces the effects of having a lot of repairals. Has it's about LED adults. We come from a different era of parent relationships as children, because I'm a child as well. I'm a child. I have parents. Though my father has passed on, he passed on just when I was doing my first year. But I am a child, and some of the things that we bring forth in our lives have been inspired by our childhood, and a lot of this that we're bringing forth, unfortunately, is a lot of brokenness, and we pass that brokenness to our children, and our children receive the wrath of where we have been or what we didn't deal with from our childhood. There's a lot of things that happened in our childhood as parents now, and unfortunately we cannot change what has happened, but we have every ability to change the relationships that we choose to have with our children. So I just quickly want to share with you something that is very important in healthy relationships with our children. And I'm going to start with it as forgiveness. It is very important to forgive your parents as a parent now. For everything that you felt that they didn't do justice, going. It's important that you forgive them to enable you to be a better parent, and to enable you to also have a forgiving heart towards every little thing that your child would do that you wouldn't be in agreement with, or that would hurt you. Because really bad, so I can imagine as a mother and daughter, or a mother and father, or a daughter, father, son, father, how then it would pan out if we don't practice this thing. And I always say to people that forgiveness is not an emotion, right? It is not an emotion at all. It is a decision. A decision that means you're not acting as if nothing happened. You're not acting as if, I don't know what's happening. You're not acting as if nothing happened. It's about accepting what has happened and choosing to pardon the offender, because little now we offend people. So if you understand that basic line, it will take your relationship, your children, very far. It is also having a healthy relationships with our children is also important as a parent, to establish the differences on all the children that you have, and to be able to treat each and every one of them according to how they want to be treated, or how they want to receive your love. You cannot apply a blanket approach love on all your children and hope that it will speak the same messages. Mostly what I've seen parents doing is their firstborn, who happens to be their guinea pig of parenthood, will always be their point of reference in parenting, and they'll always choose to see her or him as a bigger and better than all the other children. And what they have done to their first child, they would continue with it on all their children's, forgetting that all the children's have different characteristics, and all the children's have different needs. So it is important as a parent to constantly introspect and be able to give to your children according to their needs, not according to what you as a parent feel, hurry, this is the best that I'm doing, and if my best is not enough for all of them, then they can go jump at the highway. It's a two-way street relationship. Hence I said, before you see them as children, remember that they are human. So it is important to always relate to them on a human level. I am speaking with an understanding that some of the children today are receiving less love from their parents because the parent cannot connect with the child based on where they have been. And some of the parents today are so empty because their parents failed to give them their blessing. You know, the Bible tells us that ya roha ka ntata ile mai le bone la hae le tla tima lefifing, right? And the Bible also tells us, it's a psalm that says, Jehovah Otantol. So you need to understand that even when there is a form of parental blessing that we all desire as children from Batswadi Barun, if they fail to give it to us for their own selfish reasons, you shouldn't feel like you are lost or you will amount to nothing. You need to understand that the fact that as a parent, I have parental blessings that I carry for my children does not make me God and does not make me the last person to have a last say on their lives. Ntate Modimo o tla mpona, o tla bona pelo ya ka ke le motswadi. Ha ke le motswadi, di intentions tsa ka di sa loka ka ngwana e mong baneng ba ka. Ntate Modimo o tla mo tshireletsa, o tla mo fa kganya, o tla mo fa lesedi, mme o tla fitlhella dintho tse a lakatsang ho di fitlhella with or without my blessings. So just because you as a parent, you have this great parental blessing grace, it doesn't make you to use it to an advantage that disadvantages your children, or to use it to your wickedness. Because the truth is, re le batswadi re stoutu, hona le batswadi ba bangata ba stoutu, and they treat their children ka tsela tse fapaneng, tse leng hore at the end of the day it creates barriers between your children, and they cannot relate as siblings. They cannot see each other as love. What they see between each other is competitors. It is what we parents create. So what I'm sharing with you now are the things that you need to avoid and the things that you need to look into so that you have healthy relationships with your children. Don't be afraid to be naked in front of your children emotionally. I'm not saying I'm saying emotionally. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. When you are scared, it is okay to tell your children that I am scared as a parent. And me being scared doesn't mean that we are in danger or anything. But as a human being, I am scared, and I need you all to hold hands with me and be one with me so that we fight whatever it is that we're facing. And do not, as a parent, o hatelle bana just because of you are a parent. Listen to what they have to say. They are people. They see things as well in their own little world, in their own little understandings. Bring it into your world and be understanding. And as much as it might irritate you to hear them saying, Mama, Mama bona, Papa, Papa mamela, bona, now and then, it can be very irritating. I am telling you because I know. It can be very irritating. But always, always stand up and go and listen and see whatever it is that your children want you to see. Because that will enable them to trust you with little things and big things. They'll be able to talk to you openly without fear of judgment, or without knowing that Haki Wale Mama, all I'm just going to get is being corrected. They're going to know Haki Wale Mama le Papa. They are going to listen, and their listening is going to ignite, and they are not just going to listen just so that they respond. It is important that we become a better generation of parents. And I always hear people saying the very same thing that I saw that I didn't like when I grew up from my mom, I see myself becoming. That is a reverse psychology. So now that you know that it is reverse psychology and it has a way of working like that, you are in a much more better place to be intentional about everything that you give to your children. You are in a much more better blessed place to present yourself in a more pleasant way to your children. You are in a much more befitting position to be a parent that your children will say, my parent gave me the ability to be who I am without judgment. My parents gave me the ability to be me in support, whether they agreed with the decisions that I wanted to take or not, but they supported me and they believed. Hana ntho e bohloko jwalo ka ha o le ngwana o etsa dintho batswadi ba hao ba sa believe ho wena. Hana ntho e bohloko jwalo ka ha o le ngwana o etsa dintho batswadi ba hao ba sa believe in you. It has killed a lot of children. It continues killing a lot of children and their dreams, their hopes, and everything that they had hoped for, in a nutshell. Because the one person who is meant to be their guidance is looking at them and oring, you're gonna fail anyway. We need to build a generation of strong leaders. We need to build a generation of kids that understand Hori. We are always giving them a white flag of support, even when we don't understand what it means to be in their place or do that. It might be as little as how loving to dance, and you thinking, but dancing is not a career. For you, yes, but for them, they see what you don't see. And for as long as they see what you don't see, help them achieve the little things that matter to them, so that they are able to see that Kaniti, as a parent, what you want for them is the best. We are a broken generation. May we bring forth leaders and children who are not broken, but who have been prepared so that they don't need any repairing. This is very important. I cry in front of my daughter. When things don't go right, I tell her. When things that I had hoped did not materialize how I had hoped, I tell her. And I always tell her that ha hona motswalle ya fetang ntate Modimo. So when you see me crying, I'm just taking out the hurt so that I don't harbor it and eventually get into wena, because you are definitely not the reason why things didn't go right. But I'm sharing with you so that you know where I am as a parent, so that even when you want things, you ask from a point of understanding. The time to have secrets and not to be open to your child have totally gone. You need to be as open and honest to your children as possible about your finances, about your spirituality, about your health, about your expectations of them, and listen to them when they tell you their response towards your expectations of them. Because your expectations as a parent of your children is not a true reflection of where your children want to be. It is your expectation. And many children today are so angry because all that they are is what their parents didn't become. Don't live your life through your children. Don't make a mistake of living your life through your children, or making a mistake of wanting to rectify your mistakes through their lives. There is unfortunately mistakes that they will have to go through for themselves. Some we need to teach them because we have gone through them, but they will only be at a point of being teachable based on the relationship that we have created with them. If you are a parent that is always saying, "Oslatla, oh, domo," I had somebody one day say, to ngwana hae, o Satan wena. And I was so offended. And I couldn't help but I jumped in and say, it's amazing how you are saying ngwana hao ke Satan, and when they become Satan, you'll start saying batho ba loile ngwana hao. O se aware hore you are the one that has actually placed her or him in that place of being Satan. You need to understand when you put yourself in, you put your child in a place or in place of certain things. So it is of importance to understand through your children. Allow your children to be who they are. Strengthen them, guide them, nurture them, support them, be there for them, cheerlead for them, love them. And I always say to people, I never speak from theory. I speak from everything that I've gone through. Right now, I hate cats. I hate cats. Like, I hate cats. I never understood what cats meant until my daughter got a gift of a cat. I learned to love that cat the same way I love her. I learned to nurture that cat the same way I would nurture her. I learned that cats are the most beautiful things that nobody told us about. Rona, we thought cats were always associated with boloi. But today, I live with a beautiful, beautiful cat. And I want to show you this. I bath it. I bath it. That is what being a mom who is supportive does. This is the beautiful little monster. So here. So I love it. I love it, good people. I love it. It's very difficult for me to hold the phone and hold it. So it clearly doesn't want to be here. I love it so much. I look after it. And it has become a greatest part of the family. Not because I knew anything about it, but because of I had to see the person that my daughter is before saying, oh, now you can't bring a cat here, and I hate cats. I love cats, and I've seen the most beautiful sides of cat's life that nobody has ever shared with me. So what I'm saying to you as parents is be open-minded. Always leave a door open for your children to enter at their most vulnerable stages. And speak to your children from an early age of grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 about their, what do I call them? The love, the little love that you guys have at school. What I call them? Crush. No. Your crushes, right? Is it crush? Yeah. So that's my daughter helping me there. So the crushes. They have crushes, guys. They have crushes. And if you can't talk to your children about the crushes, let me tell you, you would have failed. And you would have left a door for somebody to come and teach them things that are not there. I always educate them that there is nothing wrong with those little butterflies in a tummy when they see Tammy or when they see George or Levi. Or Levi, whatever, right? So when they see them and they get little butterflies, there is nothing absolutely wrong with the feeling. In fact, that tells you that as little people, their body and hormones are showing that there is a growth spurt happening. And as that happens, it is an indication that, well, as a girl, I'm into guys. As a boy, I'm into girls. And it's okay to be into girls and boys. But it shouldn't be the reason why they act on such. And if you listen to those little people's stories, you'll be amazed of what they're thinking about their, like, the crushes about. So if you don't listen every time you are missing a point of educating your child about boys and girls relationships and love from an early stage, and you are depriving them of understanding the importance of doing things for them. You need to teach them to do things for them and not for what the society has. For example, we were taught to, you need to learn how to clean, how to cook. It was so wrong that we were taught to learn, or we were taught to cook and clean and do all those things because we were being prepared for a man. Today, we are teaching our children to be enough of them and to know themselves and to be in tune with who they are for themselves, and to understand at an earlier stage that I am enough as an individual, and whatever it is that I am feeling shouldn't be the motive behind me doing certain things. So when I'm grown as a lady and I get in sexual relationships, I get into them with an understanding of why, not preserving my virginity because I'm going to make a good wife one day. Stop saying that to your children. Oh, so she needs me to tell you that the cat was a gift from a little boy who has a crush on her, right? Beautiful. And it is exactly that, a crush, and they're beautiful friends, and they don't do anything beyond friendship, because we talk about the crush and what comes with being a crush and what it makes her feel like to have a crush. And we talk about the do's and don'ts of such things. So if you are shutting your children when they want to tell you stories of such, you are missing out on an opportunity to create great minds, great lives, great individuals who will be able to stand up and say, I am in a relationship because I understand myself before wanting to give anybody anything else outside of me. We need to create the children that are going to outdo us, because a lot of us are still struggling in our relationships with our partners because nobody taught us about who we are. We are not, you know, we were not taught to be self-aware and self-enough, and understanding that I need to know me first before I can get into a relationship with somebody. I need to understand where I want to get to before I can get into us. Because once you get into us, the goal is for us. There is a little bit that is still left for you, but the goal, that is the main goal, is for us. Now, how do you start planning on us when you can't even define who you are? How do you? Let us bring them up beautifully with care, with love, and be their friends. Be their friends, yes. This is the one that confuses a lot of people. There is nothing wrong with being your child's friend. You need to do it with clear boundaries set in place so that you both understand. I appreciate a child who swears in front of their parents than a child that never swears in front of their parents, but ha fitla ka ntle a ba rwa ka batho kaofela e re ha molato o tliswa batswadi ba ba re ngwana rona ha re motse ba etsa jwalo. So be careful that you're not building up a child who's living two lives, because you are forcing them to live two lives, because in front of you they can't talk about certain things. You expect them to do things how you want them done, and when they get out there ulisiko, they become wild and they shock you. We always get shocked because of what we have bred. I love you, but God loves you more. And thank you for all the messages, all the topics, and everything else. Ke a leboha ke di bone Mashilo for watching. Pilda, Masuho, thank you. And everybody else that was here that I couldn't say hi to, thank you. And keep safe in your different spaces, whether you made it a home, whether you made it a house, Go tseba wena. I don't know. So you might have all the expensive things in your crib, but miss the one most important thing, that is love. And without it, emptiness is what resides in you, and you are empty as well. So keep well. Thank you. And that's it for the day. Until we meet again, I love you, but God loves you more without any performance required.